Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NGEN Markets Training session for today. So, meanwhile, others are joining in. We will start with our session and we will discuss our topic for today. So, as you can see, our topic for today is mutual fund holdings analysis. We will take a look towards three separate tabs. One of them will be definitely the holdings analysis tab, which will include some of the sub tabs like sector wise and stock wise holdings. We will also take a look towards equity and debt holdings accordingly in the holdings analysis. Then furthermore, what we will do is we will take a look towards the category averages and the new updates based on the category averages which we have recently released. And secondly, what we will take a look towards is MF daily reports, is how you can generate such reports in our system and automate them. Then I will open my forum for Q&A. So if you have any questions, any queries, you can either write it on the chat box or verbally, and we will try to address them after the session. So let's get ahead with our session. I hope the screen is visible for everyone and my voice is audible, so we can get it started. So as you can see, this is the NGEN Markets terminal we have. And when you want to load holdings analysis for any particular set of mutual funds or lots of mutual funds in one single go, what you need to do is you need to head over to the funds tab here. So once you head over to the fourth tab called funds, you can directly head over to the holdings analysis tab, which will include four sub tabs. So now we are going to discuss in details how these tabs pan out and how we can use such tabs to effectively analyze the mutual fund holdings. So as you can see, we have already loaded the sector changes here. And within sector changes, what you can see is different sets of sectors which are currently having some allocations in all the mutual funds. So why all the mutual funds in equities? Because you can see here the asset class currently chosen is equity mutual fund. So this entire data sets which you are currently viewing right now is only for equity mutual fund. And if you want to change the data sets, definitely if you want to change the asset class, you can change it to hybrid just by clicking on it. Now you can see the data sets only for hybrid mutual funds, which include some balance advantage, arbitrage fund, and these kind of funds which are there in the hybrid categories. So let's get back to the equity asset class, and we are going to review all these data sets and what this data set means and how you can effectively use it. So here what you can do is first definite tab is to take a look towards is the percentage average sector holding. So all the percentages which you see is the average sector holdings for all the mutual funds taken into consideration in equity asset class. So when I take a look towards banking and when I take a look towards the February holding, 20th February 2023, I can see it's 20.33%. And once you click on it, it will give you a drill down approach, which will show you all the 370 funds which are currently holding banking as a sector in those particular set of allocation. So here you can see Taurus Banking and Financial Services, ITI Banking and Financial Services, such kinds of funds which are holding highly into banking. And you can definitely sort it based on percentages and also the amount invested in crores. We will talk about amount in the next tab here, which is value rupees invested in crores. But here you can definitely take a look towards for any particular set of a sector. So for an example, let's take a look towards another sector. Here it's finance. So if I take a look towards finance for 20th Feb 2023, I can click on this 7.33 and the 7.33 is the average sector holding for all these 356 funds. So average of all these percentages would account for 7.33%. And here you can sort it based on percentage and the amount invested in crores. So that's specifically it for the entire set of the percentage average sector holding. Now, what about value rupees invested in crores? How do I view it? All I need to do is just toggle around with this tab. So if I click on it, I can now see the value rupees invested in crores for all the sectors in the equity asset class. So for an example, if you see this red and green, so what this signifies is that it is a previous change from the previous month. So if it is in green, it has been increased. If it is in red, it has increased from the previous month, decreased from the previous month. And you can also see the number of funds taken into consideration for each set of month. And here what you can do is you can definitely click on it again. Let's say I'm just clicking on 31st March 2022, which is effectively 1 year before. And you can see 91,000 crore has been invested in pharmaceuticals 12 months before. And you can see the percentage allocation and the amount allocation similarly, which we have previously reviewed. So that's specifically it for the, any particular set of a sector which you would like to take a look towards. Now here, there's another, filtration which we have given, which is very useful. Let's say you want to take a look towards the filtration of only large cap funds. How do I do this? If I click on this equity categories here, you can now see different sets of equity categories. Let's say large cap, mid cap, multi cap. And let's say we take a look towards one use case, which is large cap funds. Now I will only see large cap funds and the sector wise changes in the large cap funds. So what are the top 10 sectors in large cap? These are definitely from the, banking, IT software, finance, refineries. You can take a look towards here directly into the system. And similarly, what you can do is, let's say we check percentage average holding. And if I click on it, I can see the large caps which are currently holding highly into banking, which is Bank of India Blue Chip Fund. And similarly, if I want to recognize which large cap fund is holding highly into pharmaceuticals, I can just click on it and I can see here that it's DSP Top 100 Equity Fund. So that is really easy for you to recognize if you're taking a look towards holding analysis on a sector changes for even for a single category. Let's say another use case, we can add in, let's say, pharmaceuticals, yet sectoral pharma funds. You can now see most of the allocation is in sectoral pharma, but other allocations definitely include healthcare, chemical, insurance, and agrochemicals. If I click on it, I can definitely see which are the funds which are currently highly invested into particular set of a sector like healthcare. So that is how it works out, and that is how you can take a look towards sector changes for any particular set of a mutual fund in different sets of asset class. Now, there is another use case. As we have taken a look towards only equity holdings, how do I take a look towards different sets of holdings like certificates of deposits? So what do I do is that first I change the asset class. Let's say we change it to hybrid. Once we change it to hybrid, you can now take a look towards the filter holdings type. And this is a button which you can click. And once you click, now you can filter holdings type here. Now, currently what we are viewing here is only the equity part of it. Let's say I want to take a look towards certificates or certificate of deposits, NCDs, and even the treasury bills. So if I click on it, I can now see the treasury bills, T-bills given here. I can even see the NCD exposure here. And if I click on the 16%, now I can see that which one of the funds are currently holding highly into NCDs. Or you can also take a look towards certificates of deposits where it shows 3.81%. If I click on it, I can see those funds within those particular set of the categories. So that's how this works out when you're taking a look towards hybrid categories into the system. And you can also change and clear this out. You can make, let's say, balance advantage only, and then choose your filter holding types accordingly into the system. And this is it for the sector changes. And once you are done with this analysis, what you can do is you can download these datasets in Excel. To do that, you can head over to this Excel tab here. So this tab, once you click on it, it downloads all the datasets, including different sets of hybrid and even the equity asset class directly into the system. So this is a good way to take a look towards the entire set of holding analysis for one asset class. So whichever asset class you choose, you will see the data sets for that, which is given in Excel, which I'm currently showcasing right now. So that is specifically it for the NGEN sector holdings. And then we can take a look towards the stocks holding as well. As we have taken a look towards these sectors, how do stocks pan out? To check stocks, all you need to do is just go ahead to the stock changes tab. So within stock changes tab, you can now see different sets of stocks, which are currently right now is large cap stocks. So we have given a toggleable button, which you can change from large cap to mid cap and even the small cap, right? And here what you can do is you can also change different sets of holdings. So let's say I'm checking right now as percentage average holding for every single stock. So let's take a look towards ICICI Bank. So for all equity asset class, all equity categories of the mutual fund, what you can see here is there is an average stock holding as 6.91%. And from previous changes, you can see the stock has average holding has currently decreased from the last 5 months. And what you can do is you can click on it and you can definitely see which are the funds which are currently holding this particular set of a stock, which is ICICI Bank, highly into this allocation. So you can see there are some Sundaram Finserv opportunities. There's a banking Finserv fund and lots of funds which are holding highly towards ICICI Bank Limited. And you can also see the amount and number of shares. So amount in crores is given here. It's 3,000 crores by Kotak Flexi Cap, and number of shares definitely is going to be correlating with the amount. And you can see that number of shares is also held by Kotak Flexi Cap Fund. And that's how you can view it by choosing in ascending or a descending order. You can just click on it. And once you get back, you can now change the entire matrix, which these data sets in value rupees invested in crores and also in shares held in lakhs. So let's say if I click on this, and you can see here that the value rupees invested in crores is quite different. You can see there has been increased in in the last 5 months, and then there is a decrease of the amount invested in crores. And you can definitely click on it and see the data sets which are currently correlating with each other. So that's how it works out for the one particular set of a stock. And then there is number of shares. Now number of shares is very useful if you want to determine that from the previous last 12 months how ICICI stock has panned out. And you can definitely see the number of stocks held in lakhs is currently decreased from the last 12 months. It's, before it was 31st March 2022, which was 9,919. Now it's 9,000, 621. So definitely it has decreased as number of stocks held in lakhs. So that is how it works out for one particular set of a stock. Now, let's say if I want to take a look towards only mid cap stocks, all I need to do is just click on mid caps, and you will now see all the mid cap stocks and even the small cap stocks. Now, the point here is that when you take a look towards, like, let's say mid cap stocks, and when you see this average sector holding, this can be quite misleading because you do not know which how many number of funds are currently holding that stock. That is the reason what we have given is that we have given this show fund counts. Now, this gives us a proper idea that are we having a proper set of an average? Like for an example, this could be a good average. You can see 107 funds are actually holding, as 2.11%. This definitely indicates that, average is 2.11. But if you compare it with Vodafone Idea, it's just one fund. So this does not justify the average. That is the reason when you are taking a look towards percentage average holding for stock changes, you should also check in this show fund counts, which will be very useful and insightful when you're taking a look towards and filtering the data sets for all the stocks. So here, effectively, you can see all the stocks which are having the highest percentage average holding, which is one of them is Vodafone Idea, which is not having too much fund. You can click on it. You can see here it's only Tata Quant Fund. So that's basically it for the stock changes. And that is how you can take a look towards different sets of stocks ideas, when you're taking a look towards mid cap or even the small cap. So for small caps, let's say if I click on one stock, right, so you can see different sets of, let's say, one of the stock which is having a very high, average sector holding. Let me just check it here, and you can click on this particular set of stock, and you can see the data sets of that stock itself, which is a technical analysis of the stock. So at NGEN, what we have given here is most of the data sets are interconnected. Whenever you click on one of the stock name, you can definitely analyze that stock in a separate tab just by clicking on it. So that gives you a very good set of a flexibility when you analyze it. So even for the fund, so if I see that, okay, I have IDBI small cap fund. If I click on it, I can now analyze IDBI small cap fund individually if I am interested into that fund based on the holdings analysis which I have previously reviewed. So that is how it works out for the stock changes. There are a couple of other data sets here as well. So one of the data sets here is the equity holdings. So let me just load in equity holdings for you. 1 second. Yeah. So once you see the equity holdings is where you need to analyze it on the basis of one particular stock only. Let's take an example, Pidilite. So if I want to know that how many mutual funds are currently holding Pidilite, so I can just type in Pidilite here, and I can see these are the number of funds which are holding Pidilite, and these are the data sets which currently are backtested for these particular set of funds. So you can see the holdings in percentage. You can definitely sort in based on ascending and the descending order. You can sort the fund AUM, the fund holdings in crores, and these are the return data sets for 1 month, 6 month, and 1 year subsequently. And you can definitely type in as many stock as you want. Let's say Tata Power for the sake of it, and let's say we want to take a look towards how many stocks are holding Tata Power, how many funds are holding Tata Power. And you can definitely see these are the funds which are holding Tata Power effectively into the system. And then you can download this table and to do your further analysis, and it's an Excel based table. So likewise we have seen before in sector changes, you can now also take a look towards those tabular data sets for one particular stock and all the mutual funds which are holding that particular set of a stock. So this is how the table looks like. You can use it for your own customized analysis. If you're making a customized report of your analysis, you can do that here into our system. Just copy and paste these data sets into your PowerPoint using it, and that's how it works out. That is the flexibility which we have given for the equity holdings part of it. Now here we have also given another useful tab which is called as top 25 stocks held by open-ended funds. Now, why this is useful? Because it gives you an entire pictorial overview of all the top 25 stocks, and you can click on that stocks. Let's say NTPC. If I click on it, I can see all the funds which are holding NTPC currently. You can also take a look towards, let's say, the top stock, which is ICICI Bank. For 540 funds are currently holding these amount of crores in this particular set of the stock, and download these data sets in Excel CSV format. And we have given some pictorial circular overview of how much entire set of MFs are holding in banking, refineries, finance. You can just take a look towards here as well. It's a small tab, but it gives you an idea about how the sectors are panning out on an equity holdings basis. So that's how it works out for the equity holdings. And then we have the debt holdings. So for debt holdings, there are two ways to recognize which mutual funds are holding that particular set of the debt securities. One way is definitely to take a look towards using the keyword. Let's say if I just want to take a look towards all the Reliance debt papers, I can just type in Reliance and search it. And now I can see all the Reliance debt securities which are panning out in the system. And these are the funds which are currently holding these debt securities. And you can definitely, make it as an ascending and a descending order for ratings, holdings in percentage, fund AUM, and all these data sets which are given here, which actually pans out till 1 year. Now here, what I can do is I can also type in another debt security, which is, let's say, GSW. Now, if I want to take a look towards debt security on a specific basis, so all you need to have is an ISIN number. So ISIN code, if you have it, let's say I'm copying this ISIN number from here. And once I copy this ISIN number and paste it, there are two sets of debt securities this ISIN number holds. One is corporate debts, and another is, you can see this for GSW Steel NCDs. So what you can do is you can click on it, and now you can see all those type of debt securities which are currently holded by the mutual funds. So mutual funds are taking positions in this particular set of the debt security. So if you have the ISIN number, this kind of a number, you can easily recognize which mutual fund are holding which these kind of securities in the system. So that's how you can recognize this, and you can also recognize if they have defaulted or not by taking a look towards the ratings here. So that's how it works out for the debt holdings. And we have given certain sectoral breakdown for the debt holdings as well, which gives you an idea that how much type of debt secured sectors the mutual funds holds, and that is how it works out for the debt holdings. And that's it for the holdings analysis, the entire overview of the holdings analysis. We can now take a look towards the category averages part of it. So category average is given here in our system. Now this is where we have actually onboarded a new update. A new update is basically you can now load the historical category average for any particular set of a category. So let's load in only equities as of now for an example. So you can change the asset class here. You can actually select one asset class for your preferences to make it a simpler analysis. And once you do this, we can now see the history here, which is a new update given in our system. Now, these kind of updates are also there in our individual mutual fund analytics and even the comparative security analysis as well. So what you can do is, let's say we are taking a look towards historical category averages for large cap fund. So I can click on it, and I can now see the historical category average for equity large cap fund from the since inception of the mutual funds. So here what it denotes is that it is calculated using the daily average returns of funds historically. So all the funds, number of counts of the funds, and daily average returns of funds historically. So you can see here, these are the data sets which you can take a look towards. And that is how you can see all the historical category averages like multi-cap and even the sectoral, even in the sectoral pharma in our system. And this is how the category averages pan out for the history of it. And what about other data sets? So I'm just gonna give you a brief overview of the data sets here, how it works out and how you can use these data sets. One better use case of this data sets is definitely you can select a plan. So if you're into direct funds, you can click on direct fund and you will now see category average of only direct funds, and you can change the plan accordingly into the system. This is number one use case. Number two use case is that you can now also check these data sets on a calendar year basis. So here we have already given like a 5 year. So this category average is actually the average of all these data sets for a 5 year return sets. And if I sort in, you can see that from the previous 5 year return sets, sectoral infotech was actually the best 5 year return giving category. Similarly, if I go beyond in the horizontal domain, you can see here that 10-year data sets, if you see, it's a 10-year data sets highly for small cap funds. And here we have given some calendar years. Now, calendar years is useful if you want to analyze it on the basis of one particular calendar year. So let's say in 2018, here you can see in equities, only one category was positive. And it's an average category average here, but you can see that how it works out for different sets of dates. Let's say another example for 2020, which is a COVID period. So sectoral pharma definitely was best option at that point, and sectoral infotech as well. So you can see the category average and rank them accordingly just by the calendar years here given in the system. Now, how do we show the category average and how do we check the individual funds of those categories? To check the individual funds, all you need to do is just click on one of the category. Let's say we want to check all the 29 mid cap funds. All I need to do is just click on it, and it now loads all the 29 mid cap funds which are contributing to this category average. So that's how it works out. You can actually see all these category average data sets here in the system. Similarly, it can also be called as a SEBI classification average. And here, these are the data sets for the mid-cap funds, which are having like which mid-cap funds is having a very negative Sharpe ratio or a positive Sharpe ratio in our system. So that's how it works out for the category averages. And similarly, you can download the category averages in our NGEN Markets terminal in Excel. All you need to do is just click on it. And once you click on it, an Excel-based report gets downloaded. It includes all the categories, the debt, hybrid, solution-oriented, and even the equities in our system. And that is how it will, show here. So if you can see here, I'm just showcasing the category averages here, and all the asset class, including the debt, the equities, and the hybrid solution oriented, all the data sets are now onboarded in one single Excel, which you can use it for your further analysis and your further customized analysis. So that's how this is for the category averages. And then we are going to take a look towards now another use case for category averages, that we have actually loaded this historical category average, which can also be onboarded in a comparative basis, in a security comparison, and also on an individual fund analytics. So I'll just showcase this on an overview because this will actually have another session anyway. But if you want to take a look towards the category average on a comparative basis, all you need to do is, let's say I'm loading pharma funds. So I can load pharma funds, the group of pharma funds here in the compare section. And once I load it, all the 10 funds will be added. And once they are added, then I can add historical category average of pharma. So I'm just adding pharma here. Now I can compare the category average, which is given here, which is given effectively in the main list, versus the pharma funds, which are here, which I can compare on a 2 year, 3 year, and all the sets of analysis like rolling analysis, relative column, and these all sets of analysis can be done if you add the category averages versus one single set of a category funds in our main list. So that is one use case which you can use with our new update. Another use case is definitely in an individual fund analytics. So if I click on, let's say, DSP Healthcare, now, how do you load category average for one single fund? To load that, all you need to do is go ahead to this benchmark tab, and you can click on this engine. And in engine, you can see this historical SEBI category averages. So what you need to do is just type in, let's say, pharma. So once I type in sectoral pharma, you can now see the category average, which is given in black, versus our rebase price of DSP Healthcare Fund, and all the particular set of the performance analytics can be compared. Like for an example, our DSP Healthcare Fund is actually having lesser volatility than the benchmark, which is a category average in our system. So that is how it works out, and that is how you can take a look towards our new update in our system. So this is a very good use case if you want to compare different sets of mutual funds with the SEBI category averages. And there is no restriction in adding SEBI category averages. You can even compare multiple category averages, let's say large cap, mid cap, in one single list, and compare them in risk versus return analysis to for your own further analysis in category averages. So that's how this works out. Now, next section which we will be covering is the reports tab. So now this is a section where what you can do is you can actually create automated reports for yourselves. Now, Engine has given MF daily performance report for MF for regular and direct funds. So I'm just gonna click on it and download it in Excel. So if you click on it here, it gets downloaded. And another great thing here is that we have given an automation for you. So if you have a login here, your login ID will receive every single morning post 9 a.m. On the working days. If you click on this plus button, so every single morning you will receive this Excel-based report in at your mail. So all you need to do is just click on it, subscribe it up, and every day you will get these reports. And another great thing is that I'm just going to review this report for you and how you can use such reports for your own further analysis and customization. The one great thing here is that it includes all the MF categories in one single index. So I'll just show you the index here, just a second. Yeah. So here, what you can see here is this is an index which shows all the MF categories, which includes equity, debt, hybrid, others, and solution oriented. And here, what you can do is you can click on, let's say, FlexiCap, and you can now analyze all the FlexiCap data sets in one single go, and also compare it with the category averages. So we have given the category average of FlexiCap here, and we have also given all the data sets for FlexiCap, which includes the Sharps ratio, the return sets, and it helps you to analyze them in one single go. You can use these data sets, copy them, and use it in your own, PowerPoint or Word report for your own customization. And another thing is that we have given a statistic here, which you can effectively change. Now, currently, you can see here that Kotak FlexiCap is having the highest AUM, and that you can see here in the system. Now, if you want to change it, you can now see which fund is actually having the highest Sharp ratio. So all you need to do is just click on it, and you can see that these are the statistics of the FlexiCap for the Sharps ratio. And similarly, you can go back to the index. If you click on it, you can go back to the index and analyze different set of category. Let's say we are analyzing ultra short duration fund. Now, these are the ultra short duration funds which we currently have and which you can analyze them in the system. So that's how the MF daily performance reports can be generated. You can generate it directly through our system, or you can send it to your own mail automated just by clicking on the subscribe button, which we have given in our terminal. And we have also given another set of useful tabs which will help you to download the historical daily performance report. So for historical daily performance report, we have given here in the system, you can go back as per the few months given here. And let's say I want to download the report as of November 30th, 2022, right? So what I need to do is just click on it and it gets downloaded in my system. And then you can analyze them as of that particular set of a date. So that is how it works out for the reports tab of it. And you can definitely change from regular to direct. So this is another great use case. If you're an RIA, then direct would make more sense, and that downloadable data sets will be available to you in our system. So that's specifically it for the reports tab. And that is it for the entire session for today. I will now open the forum for Q&A. So if you have any questions, any queries, you can either write it on chat box or verbally, and we will try to address them. So are there any questions?
Yeah, hello, I am Dibendra Majumnu speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a small request or suggestion to you. See, this half an hour is really very, not very comfortable for, at least for me, to remember and flow or remember the flow chart. And this process you can we can get it from your YouTube video also. But what I have requested in my question on for that request is please can you give a flow chart so that we can do it physically, we can practice it, because we are into sales, we are into marketing, we are into research, everything as a IFA we are doing our own. So it's not key. I purchased this platform as a company, but it's as an individual. So I have a small request. If you can give a flow chart, this after this, and just create a portfolio. Model portfolio or model analysis, so that it can help us to um, do ourselves only. If you can do it, it will be very helpful to us, at least for
Uh,
me.
Sure, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for the suggestion, sir. So we are, it's a great suggestion. We'll definitely think about creating something like that. Having said that, we are also working on some strategies. It's kind of overdue now, but it should be coming soon, where we will kind of use an automatic process to create some strategies. But even in those strategies, we will actually write out the steps by which we created a model portfolio. Yeah, it won't have any of our opinions in it, but you will see, that we go to the screener, we screen some funds, and we go to the compare section, and we shorten the list a little bit more. And then in the final stage, we improve the portfolio positions to get a model portfolio. So
Yes,
you'll
and
be able to see the steps.
thank you very much. And actually, this will help us. This will help us, me and every individual. Waiting for your this service as early possible. Thank you.
Yes, sir. We should be getting to it very soon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi. I have a query regarding this. In category averages, how do you check for multi-asset funds? Like how much equity they hold, how much debt, or how much gold they hold?
Sure. So basically, Umer, could we just load a multi-asset fund, just type, so in here, when we show you asset allocation, we can have a look at what it's showing.
No, I'm not asking in the individual fund. See, in the
Okay.
overall, when you're doing the entire fund, the category averages under the fund session, there, if we go to select hybrid and multi-asset,
Yes.
there
Yeah, Umer, just let's go to the fund section.
fund section,
Yeah.
holdings analysis. Yeah, holdings
Okay.
analysis.
Yeah.
And there under hybrid, here we go, there we choose multi-asset. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, I'm only able to see the equity part of it. Where do I see how much debt portion and how much gold? Because
Okay.
multi-asset has.
Sure. So here, the third filter here. So may I just click that. So when we look at holding analysis, by default, it is always going to select this equity. So these that you see here, all these things, they are the various different types of holdings that we get. The most common type is obviously equity. So that's the one that's selected by default. And you can see the other ones here. So if you unselect equity and maybe do let's say corporate debt, and yes, let's these three, yeah, let's say. So again, this is purely data driven. So based on the data, these three categories, if you will, they will show you what kind of holdings they have in that category.
But in a multi asset, there's supposed to be commodities also, right? That is not showing.
So we have to select that holding type. I'm not, let's say derivatives commodity, maybe. It depends on what kind of, and there's another one at the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so that one hardly has anything. So it depends. Could you give us the name of a fund so we can see how the commodities are showing?
Yeah, it could be ICICI multi-asset or quant multi-asset.
Okay, so Umer, let's go ICICI multi-asset. And in the asset allocation, let's find some commodities and check what holding type they are. They might be in derivatives. Let's see. Go below. Cash margin, nothing. So in these, we can't really see any commodities in this particular fund.
Okay.
So basically what I'm saying is the first column in this table on the right, that refers to the type. So Umesh, click on something else like derivatives or NCD or something like that. At the bottom, yeah, let's click any of these. So that's the derivatives type. If you click on NCD, then that's okay. That's the NCD type. So these are the types that you can filter for in holding analysis. This is exactly the same data point that gets filtered over there. So Umesh, let's go back to the funds holding analysis page. So here, when you look at the filter holding types, so here you can put in NCD, for example. Yeah. Okay. There it is. And now you can see some of these data points coming through. So there it is. ICICI multi-asset, that NCD holdings are coming through like that.
Okay. So can you individually check like that for the quant multi-asset and also see if that's the same?
Sure. Let's do that. If there are any, maybe there are quantities there. Let's see. So that's all stocks. That's our mutual fund. The common securities will be reverse repo, cash, and CD. Yeah, that's all we've got here. Just show all, Umer, just to make sure that I just want to see everything is in here. Yeah. So we don't see any commodities in here. It could be that they have commodity stocks or commodity-based stocks.
Okay.
You can check the Indian mutual funds also, Umer. Let's see if there's any commodity funds here, maybe. No. Okay, so there it is.
Yeah, they have the gold ETFs.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, yeah, they're mixed in with the holding type mutual funds. So these are obviously direct mutual as a holding fund. The mutual funds that this fund is now holding in turn. So this is how they're getting their commodity exposure. So they're not individual securities. So we don't have a further classification of what type of mutual fund is. On holding analysis, you can check Indian mutual fund as a type. Yeah, so let's just filter that as well. But of course, that will show, any mutual fund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. There is one more question on there saying the debt holdings we show sovereign percentage AAA, AA, and other. Is A1 or cash a part of other? So A1 should be showing separately. So may I just maybe go to the compare section or the screener, any one of them. So we can just look at the debt columns basically. Yeah, let's just load some debt columns in. Okay, so basically we have AAA, AA, and then cash, that column cash, that will have everything that is considered, it's either directly it's mentioned as cash or net C and others. and A1 percentage should show separately. And other, so other basically everything that's not AAA or A, AAA, AA or A. So any other questions, please do let us know. Umair, can we check the same thing in the compare section? It's fine, just add even one fund is enough. We just need to check the columns. Yeah, so the compare section doesn't look like it shows your debt segregation, and there is no column here for cash either. So that's something that we can add. Yeah, yeah, we can add some extra columns here to show those as well. Yeah, okay. Umair or Projector, yeah, please just make a note of this.
Sure, sir.
Any other questions from anyone? Okay, if there are no other questions, Umair, you can just close for the day. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this session. We will come up with the next topic, interesting topic for the next week. Same time, 4 o'clock, Friday. So do stay tuned. And furthermore, we are currently adding new updates here in our system, and we have also emailed you the updates. So we will be, if you have any questions, you can either send us a mail. So I'm just typing in the mail, which is support@engineresearch.com. And you can head over to that and always pull in your queries if you have any queries for that. So that's it for today.
Sorry, before
Thank you so
closing, I
much,
just
everyone.
have one doubt.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
just checking in
Okay.
my screen the ICICI multi-asset and the asset allocation. There it's given as of 31st December 2022. We are on 17th March. Why is it showing 31st December 2022?
Okay, you mean the latest holdings?
Yeah, I've typed the fund and I'm looking at the asset allocation session.
Right.
There the date is given as of 31st December 2022.
Right. We will check this out with the data provider why the holding of this is not updated yet. I mean, everything else is definitely updated, but we will follow up with you. We'll definitely get back to you on this.
Okay. Yeah, because if it's December 22nd and today it doesn't make sense what changes it's made. So I don't.
Yes, I agree. I think we actually did notice some a 1 day lag in the NAV as well, because you can see it should be 16th March. So we will check out if there's any issue with the data for this fund.
It's there in quite a few funds. Now I checked Quant Multi-Asset, it says as of 28th February 2023.
Yeah.
So that's also like 17 days behind. So if you can just check why it.
Well, you see, the holdings will always be of the last month end. So we don't, the holdings are only reviewed once a month. Or updated once a month. So there are some funds, about a few hundred funds, that also reveal their holdings every 15 days. So for some funds, you'll actually see a mid-month update. But in terms of holdings, there will always be as of the previous month end. And even that update comes around the 10th of the next month. So even the 28th Feb that you're seeing, that probably got updated around the 10th to 15th. So, we can't really do much about that. We get it from the AMCs as soon as they release it.
Okay.
So we check on a
So
daily
I got
basis.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. So the previous month end is correct then. Then December has to be checked. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We will check this out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you everyone again. I suppose we don't have any other questions. Let's wrap this session for today. We will catch up again next week, Friday, 4 o'clock. Have a nice weekend.